In this video, I'm going to give you a way for how militia units could mobilize. Every unit should have some type of mobilization plan. Now, the particular way I have this written out, it kind of follows what I've heard what's done by the Guard and the Reserves. And it's also somewhat along the lines of what we did when I was active duty, when I was still in. And that was using the phone tree. Now, first off, you're going to need some type of code key. Now, with code key, you're going to have what the order is and then the code word for it. Now, this is not all inclusive. You may have more. You may have decide you require less. That's up to you. Every unit's going to be different. Change your code key every 1 to 6 months. Ideally, you should change it every 1 to 2. But that is going to be kind of a pain, constantly changing them out, remembering them, that type of thing. I would say at the meeting, go over the code words and then give some type of small sheet to people to carry with them, say inside a wallet or something like that, or hide inside their, vehicle above a visor or inside a ashtray or something like that. Now, first off, obviously we would need alert, get ready. This is not mobilization. This is you're just preparing because operations are anticipated. So for this one, the code word is going to be Old Oak. We have mobilize and assemble. Something's happening, we're going operational. Hickory stick. Bug out and evacuation. This would be with family. Some type of event has happened that leaving the family behind is just too dangerous. It's guaranteed 100% they would die. And that it's far better to keep the family and loved ones with you. So the order for that is brush fire. Now, then we will also have some tests. This is done just to test your process, your mobilization process, and your phone tree. So we have test, reply by phone. This is primarily for you didn't talk to the person on the phone, you had to leave a voicemail for them. Sagebrush. Test, reply by text or email. Dogwood. Test, no reply required. Weeping willow. Confirmation that order has been received and is understood. Woodcutter. Now, how this will go through in the process. An event has occurred. The commander and the command element has decided the unit's going to mobilize. They're going to go operational. So they start using the phone tree. The command element, each of them have the people they're supposed to contact. Say the commander contacts the platoon leaders. Your company first sergeant contacts the section heads from your headquarters or whatever you have set up. They send out a mobilization order, hickory stick. So that platoon leader, he then gives his confirmation he received the order and so forth. Platoon leader then contacts the squad leader. That squad leader then either contacts all of the people in his squad or he contacts his team leaders. That team leader then contacts the troops. Once they get confirmation from each of the troops, they confirm it with the squad leader. Once the squad leader gets confirmation from his team leaders, he contacts the platoon leader. Once the platoon leader gets the confirmation from all of his squad leaders, he contacts the commander and gets his confirmation. Now, how this would work out. The squad leader calls the team leader. He says, hey, you know, I'm looking for something in particular. I'm thinking about going to that souvenir place outside of Bronzeville. I'm looking for a hickory stick, say about 6 feet long. What do you think on that? You got any places you could think I could find one? The team leader gets the order, he realizes what it is, and he replies with the confirmation. Well, that's a possibility. I could also check with this old woodcutter that lives outside of town. Maybe he's got an idea on where he could get a hold of a 6-foot hickory stick for you. So you have confirmation of the assembly order. Now, as soon as you get that confirmation, you immediately start getting ready according to whatever predetermined plans or orders you have in your unit for how you're going to mobilize. So you load up your bags, your gear, and any additional supplies. Now, for additional supplies, we're talking extra cans of ammo, cases of MREs or freeze-dried meals, cases of bottles of water, bags of medical supplies, additional items. Now, all weapons should be concealed. They should be inside bags. If they're on you on your person, you know, hidden underneath your clothing. Now, you should get dropped off at your initial rally point, unless you're part of the transportation to go to the other rally points. Then you'll drive yourself, but you should get dropped off there. Now, that initial rally point should be at a location where people being dropped off with bags and that stuff is not uncommon. Think of like the old style bus stops, which you don't see too many of anymore. But it could be locations like spots where groups that go to sporting events usually meet up at, or spots where people get together to meet up for a bus going to a casino, that type of thing. Places where you can have people sitting out with a bunch of bags or a few bags, and it's not out of the ordinary. It's not going to draw too much attention. Now, everyone meets up at that initial rally point. That's all the people that are supposed to go to that rally point. You're there for no more than 1 hour. If you're told a particular meetup time, make sure you're there ahead of time. And then at that meetup time, the person doing the transportation to the next rally point needs to arrive. And that person doing that responsible for that transportation should be someone from your auxiliary or Patriot support element for your unit. They show up with the van, the truck, you know, the SUV, the small minibus, whatever it happens to be, whatever works in your unit, what will not draw attention. Shows up, you load everything up. You move on to the next rally point. You get to the next rally point, you get dropped off. Now, that second rally point should be somewhere most likely outside of town, out in the woods. It should be along the side of a road at a particular location. Say a mile or 2 miles from a particular intersection, or the center of a particular stretch of roadway out in the country, that type of thing. Everyone gets out with their gear. They change into their, at that rally point, they move into the woods and that stuff. They change into their uniform, they change into their field gear, they start prepping their weapons. While you're doing that, always make sure someone is on guard from that group that got dropped off. Someone needs to keep watch. If it's only one person that made it to that rally point, you know, he needs to get ready, and he needs to be keeping his head on the swivel, constantly looking around, constantly listening while he's getting ready. Now, any additional supplies that were brought with, I forgot to mention this. You need to count on you transporting them, either on your person, inside some type of cart, or maybe on the sides of a bicycle if you want to go the old VC route, or inside a sled if it's some type of winter time, or on horseback if you're in the western part of the U.S. Always count on you have to transport your own stuff unless you already have some type of arrangements made with your team or squad. Now you stay at that second rally point for no more than an hour again. You might be staying to wait for 2 additional groups to get dropped off. Say both those groups get dropped off within 10 minutes. Well, once everybody's ready, you move out immediately. And then you move to the assembly area for the unit. Now, the unit should stay at that assembly area no more than 24 hours while you're waiting for each group to show up. At the end of that 24 hours, if there's people that didn't come in, they haven't contacted you letting you know that they're on the way in, they haven't contacted you by radio, you move out. They've either been killed, they've been captured, or they're shirking their duty. They've decided that they're not going to be a part of this. They've changed their mind. And you know what? There's really nothing wrong with that. Because we're militia, we're not military. We did not sign a contract stating that if we do not accomplish this mission, we agree that we'll go to jail. Okay? People can change their minds, and people do that all the time. Don't necessarily hold it against them unless they're giving information to the enemy. Then it would definitely hold it against them. Now, a note on these rally points. You should have members that will go directly to each rally point and the final assembly area. They should be pre-designated. They already know what their mission's going to be. The other people in the unit should not know they're going to be there, other than, say, the leadership. The reason they go to those locations is for security checks. When they go there, they're going to check for any cameras. They're going to check to see if anyone's watching the area. They should do a good scan of the sky to make sure there's no aircraft circling around. They don't see any drones in the area. Making sure that that rally point is clear. Now, if the rally point is compromised, there needs to be some type of set signal for that rally point. And it could be, say, our initial rally point is at a county park. Okay, located next to a lake or whatever. Well, you got the little trail that comes into the boat launch, and there's a really big tree right at the start of that trail. It's really noticeable from the dirt roads or county roads, whatever it leads to that park. Well, if the security element notices the area is being watched, he then deploys whatever marker. Say it could be a big piece of red cloth. He ties it off to a branch on that tree or around the tree, whatever it is. The people coming in, they see that red cloth. They know that the rally point has been compromised. They need to move on to an emergency rally point. Now, the person that is at the emergency rally point, they need to have good, secure communications with the unit so they can notify the unit of who shows up and the reason why. So if someone shows up to that emergency rally point, they need to give the reason why. They need to say that, hey, I went to the initial rally point and it was compromised. There was people watching it. Well, was anyone captured? No, not that I seen. I was there for a couple minutes and then I moved on. The person at that emergency rally point sends that information up to the command element at the assembly area, so they're aware of that compromised rally point. Now, it's all pretty straightforward. You can take something like this, modify it any way you see fit that works best for your unit. I do know that militia mobilizations have been done over the past few years, especially during the Obama years, where some particular event happened. It was a tripwire for that unit. They mobilized. And then they stayed at their assembly area for a set period of time. Things did not develop the way they thought they would. It could. So then they returned home. So you'll still need some way contact whoever to pick you up from that initial rally point. So then you basically do the reverse for going back home. You go back to your second rally point, you put on your civvy clothes, you pack everything up. That militia auxiliary or patriot support group member shows up, transports you to the initial rally point. You get the initial rally point, and you wait for the person who dropped you off to come pick you up to take you home so you can continue on. Now, if a mobilization should happen, don't consider it the end of the world. There's always, like I said, with that, there's always the possibility something may not develop. So don't burn your bridges, especially with your employer. Don't tell them, hey, I'm going to war, fuck you, I'm gone. Okay? Don't do that. You know, call in sick or whatever. You get the message at work that, hey, we're mobilizing, you know, be at this point at a certain time. You know, if it's after shift, wait to the end of shift and then you move on. Okay? If it happens during shift, you're supposed to rally during shift. You know, go to your supervisor, hey, I'm not feeling well, I got to go to see the doctor. You know, do your valid excuses for getting out of work, whatever, and then go rally with your unit. Now, if you have some type of call-in process, you might want to follow it or have someone of your family member follow it for you. Say you're out in the field, okay? Things haven't happened yet. Your family's still back at home. They don't know what's going on. They know that they should call in for your work the next day. Say that, well, he's too sick or she's too sick to come into work today. You know, they're too sick to use the phone right now. They're sick as hell. They can't come in. Okay, you know, confirmed. You know, we confirm it here at work. Okay, hope to see them at work tomorrow type things. So keep that in mind. Now, for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot and militia movements, always remember, essayons.